One of the most exciting events that could happen during an NBA season, it's gotta be when a free agent gets signed. When an NBA season ends, fans are still excited because of what's gonna happen in the offseason. And during this time, we can see either a superstar signing with the new team or even teams signing small, cheap deals. And with the NBA going into quarantine and it's actually gonna restart in a couple of weeks, we NBA fans are getting lucky because we basically got a small free agency. When it was announced that the NBA will be returning, the 22 teams that were invited to the NBA restart, they were allowed to sign players to fill their roster if they don't have enough players that will be joining them in Orlando. And so far, there have been multiple free agent signings that I'm pretty sure you guys don't know of. And in this video, I want to go over every single signing so far and give you guys an NBA 2020 restart recap. Some of these players you guys know, some of them you might not know, but the point is NBA teams are still being active on making the best team possible during this NBA restart. And I believe that some of these signings could make a big impact. But before I get into the video, I just want to say if you're new to the channel and love basketball, welcome to ezBUCKETz, guys. I make basketball videos on a daily consistent basis, so if you're new, be sure to hit that subscribe button, turn on post notifications to not miss any of my upcoming videos. A few days ago, we hit 30,000 subs, guys, and I truly appreciate the love and support you guys have been giving me, and I'm telling you right now, the videos ain't stopping anytime soon. So once again, join the Ez gang. But without wasting any more time, we're going to go into the NBA Restart 2020 recap. So far, there is a total of 17 players that have been signed to an NBA team, and some of these players are definitely going to be a big impact to a playoff run. I'm going to talk about each signing one by one, given my best personal opinion, and for the important signings, I'm going to explain why they were signed. The first team that I want to talk about is a team that has been very active during this NBA restart time, and that's the Brooklyn Nets. When talking about the Brooklyn Nets, guys, we all know the news that during this NBA restart, a lot of their players will not be joining them in Orlando. Players such as Kyrie Irving, Kevin Durant, Spencer Dinwiddie, DeAndre Jordan, Taurean Prince, which means the Brooklyn Nets have 5 roster spots they could fill, and they've signed a couple of players to match and fill that roster. One player the Brooklyn Nets signed is Jamal Crawford. I really want to take some time off to talk about Jamal Crawford, guys, because I believe this signing is very important in many ways. Jamal Crawford will be entering the NBA with this signing as the oldest player to be in the NBA, and he's going to bring a lot of experience to the Brooklyn Nets roster. With the Nets not having their veterans there of KD, Kyrie, and DeAndre Jordan, Jamal is going to be in that mentor role for the players such as Chiozza, Caris LeVert, Jared Allen, a player that's going to give some insight to an NBA vet experienced player. When Jamal Crawford got signed, there were a lot of people out there saying that with his age, he won't be able to compete with the NBA, but this is what Jamal had to say about it. He says this: "My wife changed my diet a few years ago, and that was huge. And I'm just staying in love with the game. I didn't turn 40, I turned 20 twice." He's basically saying that he's healthy and still wants to compete at an NBA level. The last time Jamal Crawford played, it was during the 2019 season finale for the Phoenix Suns, where he dropped 51 points. Being 39 years old and dropping 51 points, guys, that tells you something. He still got game, and with his ball handling skills, he'll be able to develop the future guards of Caris LeVert and Chiozza on the Brooklyn Nets roster. Another factor to this is that without Spencer Dinwiddie and Kyrie, they're going to really need a backup combo point guard, and with Jamal Crawford being known as one of the best 6-man players of all time, he's going to fit that Brooklyn Nets 6-man role perfectly. I don't expect Jamal Crawford to be a dominant force where he takes over the Brooklyn Nets, putting up 30 points per game and giving them W's, but he's still going to be a big factor in the locker room and developing the young players on their team, because there are a bunch of them. Jamal Crawford is by far one of the most popular signings during this NBA restart signing, and when Jamal Crawford hits the floor, you guys gotta watch his moves. The Brooklyn Nets also signed Michael Beasley, who is actually a pretty important factor to the Brooklyn Nets, guys. I believe the reason why they signed Michael Beasley was to keep him, so maybe next year he can be on the roster with KD and Kyrie when they all return, because Beasley has already proven in the NBA to be a vet and a proven player when given the minutes, both defensively and offense. They also signed Justin Anderson, an upcoming defender in the NBA, Dante Hall, and also Tyler Johnson. These were the 5 players the Brooklyn Nets signed to fill their roster. The next important signing is a pretty popular one, and you guys probably know this by now, and that's J.R. Smith going to the Los Angeles Lakers. With J.R. Smith's relationship with LeBron James, I'm pretty sure the reason why Lakers did sign J.R. was because of LeBron. J.R. Smith won a championship with LeBron in 2016, and their chemistry is not something that nobody knows about. They are a great dynamic duo, and LeBron is comfortable driving and kicking with J.R. Smith in both corners, or any corner just behind the three-point line. J.R. Smith is now 34 years old, and throughout his 15 years in the NBA, he has proven to be a great force when it comes to shooting. We all know the best players to surround LeBron James with are shooters, so that's why I believe J.R. Smith signing with the Lakers is going to be a big impact. Also, with the news of Avery Bradley not joining the team, J.R. Smith might have a good possible chance at the starting lineup. I don't think he will start, but the point is, I think he'll get some decent minutes to play with LeBron. J.R. Smith to the Lakers, y'all gotta keep an eye on that situation. Let's see how many minutes he ends up getting with players like KCP, Danny Green, Kyle Kuzma still there. The third popular NBA free agent signing so far has to be Joakim Noah signing with the Los Angeles Clippers. If you guys don't know who Joakim Noah is, he's known to be one of the better defenders on the center position and actually won Defensive Player of the Year in 2014. Joakim Noah is a special kind of NBA player, guys, because he interacts and impacts an NBA team tremendously because of his emotions and personality. Being 35 years old, Joakim Noah can bring a lot of experience to a young team, such as the Los Angeles Clippers having players like Zubac and Montrezl Harrell. Joakim Noah can literally be a driving force when it comes to giving advice, helping them in tough situations, and different rotations. Doc Rivers said it himself that Joakim Noah could be a great presence when it comes to defending another team's best center, because Joakim Noah knows what to do when he's on the floor when it comes to defense. He's a defensive anchor, a floor general when active and when he's in the mood, and that's why the Clippers give him a chance to help them with a championship run. We also know about Joakim Noah's history facing LeBron James, and this year with everybody saying the Clippers will face Lakers in the NBA Western Conference Finals, Joakim Noah might be a big factor when it comes to the locker room on telling the guys how to stop LeBron. I'm honestly really happy for Joakim Noah, guys. I honestly started watching basketball during the time the Chicago Bulls were running it with D-Rose MVP, and Joakim Noah was that center that I always rooted for, so this is a great comeback for him. He was just on the Memphis Grizzlies, guys, but he wasn't going to grow there, and now he gets a good shot at a championship with the Clippers. The next free agent signing that I believe is very impactful and important, and that's Luc Mbah a Moute signing with the Houston Rockets. We all know this season with the Houston Rockets going into their new formation and rotation of a small ball system, Luc Mbah a Moute can fit that rotation perfectly as a backup center power forward off the bench. Luc Mbah a Moute is known to be a dominant defender. We've seen him play with the Houston Rockets a few seasons ago. We've seen him play with the Los Angeles Clippers at a competitive level. And when he's guarding the other team's best player, his defensive rating goes up and definitely helps the team. Luc Mbah a Moute is a vet and could definitely come off the bench for Robert Covington or PJ Tucker and still be a presence on the defensive end. I do think this signing is impactful, and a lot of teams should have signed Luc Mbah a Moute as fast as possible because now the Houston Rockets have a defensive stopper. So now I want to go into the other free agent signings, guys. The reason why I'm saying other is because I don't think they're as important as the ones I just mentioned. So I'm just going to put them in the list right here. And that's Corey Brewer going to the Sacramento Kings, Jalen Adams going to the Portland Trail Blazers, Ryan Brockoff going to the 76ers, Trey Book to the Dallas Mavericks, Jerry Grant to the Washington Wizards, Devin Hall to OKC, Cameron Payne going to the Phoenix Suns, and Tyler Zeller going to the San Antonio Spurs after the Spurs have announced that LaMarcus Aldridge won't be joining them during this NBA restart. So before I end the video, I want to talk about a few players that are still not signed yet that I believe should be on an NBA team. There are honestly 3 players that I believe could impact an NBA team during this restart, and the first player is obvious, and that's DeMarcus Cousins. DeMarcus Cousins is healing from a torn ACL that he got during last year's offseason, and I believe right now he's ready to play for an NBA team. There were some rumors a few weeks ago saying that Boogie didn't want to play for the NBA this season, but that rumor got shut down and Boogie said he didn't say that. So the point is, I believe Boogie still wants a shot at an NBA championship or an NBA team, and this is the perfect time to do so because if a team signs him, it can show the NBA what he's still worth. Another player that I believe NBA teams should keep an eye on, and that's Isaiah Thomas, who previously was on the Washington Wizards and got waived by them. Isaiah Thomas has had maybe an up and down career so far. He was great with the Boston Celtics, and then it just got worse after he got traded from there. And you know what? I think he's in a position where he wants to prove to the NBA that he's still an all-star point guard, that he wants to still be a starting point guard in the NBA, and right now teams should give him a chance. We all know that when Isaiah Thomas gets on the floor, is healthy, and is locked in, he is a 25 points per game player, and that's why an NBA team signing him for a cheap veteran minimum deal is definitely worth it. And the third player on my list that I believe NBA teams should look into, that's Nick Young, guys. And I believe teams that want a shooter, a dead-eye shooter, that wants to play a good role for an NBA team, Nick Young is that guy. We've seen multiple videos so far of Nick Young practicing his shot, and he still believes his shot is one of the best shots in the NBA, and he still believes he still belongs on an NBA team. But let me know what you guys think. Are there any other free agents who have not been signed yet that they deserve to be on an NBA roster, that they could be impactful on an NBA team roster? But yeah, guys, this wraps up my video today on a full recap of the NBA 2020 restart. But yeah, other than that, guys, take it easy, God bless, and I'll see you all next time on Easy Buckets. Woo!